Are you looking for a way to turn your passion into your profession? Well, our next speaker has done just that over the last 2 years. He's travelled from Amsterdam to be with us to tell us how he did it. Jelle Dirk has 2 blogs, both of which have a podcast and an email list of 4,500 people. One of them's on personal development and minimalism, and the other one is on acting and filmmaking. And Jelle's going to be sharing with us his top tips and strategies on how to grow your audience and to make some income from it. And probably most important in the end, how to do this in a way that is authentic to yourself. Now, you may have read that Jelle studied acting and appeared in some TV shows and films in a confused period in his 20s. So for any of you that have been to Amsterdam and bought a DVD, that may be why he looks familiar to you. So please put your hands together and welcome to the stage, Jelle Dirk.
So, Greg, I wonder what you did in Amsterdam when you were there, buying DVDs. Where, what place was it?
We're just everywhere.
Okay. Okay. So I'm Jelle from the Netherlands, from Amsterdam. And first off, I want to say that I'm really happy to stand in front of this crowd. I always dreamed of places like New Media Expo in the United States, World Domination Summit, and I was looking at Twitter and watching streams. And now, the first time in New Media Europe, and I can also speak at this conference, so I'm very happy. And I would like a big round of applause for Mike and Isabella Russell, who made it happen. Woo! So today I'm going to share my 14 ingredients of an awesome blog. I did this talk in the Netherlands for bloggers, and now I do it in English. And the ingredients are all about the things I think that an awesome blog needs to have. And what my goal is for this speech is to give you the most practical tips, so some things you can just instantly use tonight if you're on your laptop or on your smartphone. So in this talk, I'm going to share how I changed my mindset, because my mindset is very important for what I'm doing now. I'm going to share my experience while I was in Brazil. In 2011, I left the Netherlands and I went for 2 months traveling in Brazil. And I took a book with me called Think and Grow Rich from Napoleon Hill. That book and that experience, that traveling, that changed my whole perspective, my whole view on life. So I'm going to talk about the mindset, then the 14 ingredients and my practical tips and tools, and at last, how to make money with your blog, and how to make products, online courses, books, or sponsorships, and give access to yourself for your audience. So first, I want to start with a little movie. I hope that it works. Yes.
Hi Gary, this is Jelle from Amsterdam. This is why I need to be in episode 14, because our biggest Dutch soccer player called Johan Cruyff, he wore the number 14.
Who knows, so Gary?
It's really important for us, for our Dutchmen. And here's my question, Gary. I've read a book in 2011 called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And that book changed my life in a very positive way. I'm very curious about you, Gary. Did you read any books that changed your life in a very positive way? Thanks.
Big shout out to all the Dutch Vaniacs. The answer to this question is pretty interesting. This is going to be one of the shorter answers. The answer is no. That pre-mentioned book that I'm planning on writing, if it's my 4th or 5th or 6th book, when I hit 8 books writing, I will accomplish a very rare feat, which is that will be the moment where I've written more books than I've read. I believe that one of my core weaknesses is my lack of reading books. I just don't read books. I've read 3 business books in my life. If you call the Steve Jobs book a business book, John Batali wrote a book called Search about Google. And then, I'm trying to even think. One of my favorite book I've ever read was called Nine. It was about the Supreme Court. I've read like 7 books. Sorry.
That was Gary Vaynerchuk. It's one of my heroes. It's, yeah, when he publishes a new show, the Ask Gary V show, I instantly watch it. I love his drive, his form of entrepreneurship, fighting for freedom. And that was episode 14 of the Ask Gary V show. Today I'm going to share my 14 ingredients, and it was about football. And we're in a city with a big football club, and maybe you know Louis van Gaal. Who knows Louis van Gaal? Raise your hands. Yeah. So he's a Dutch coach. He's now the coach of Manchester United, and he shared some English sentences in some interviews I want to relate to, because those sentences have something to do with my blogging experience. So in one interview he was saying, running behind the facts. So I will tell you what that means. So when I was blogging, I had, maybe I just promised my audience to publish an article at Saturday, and I didn't manage to publish it. So it was Sunday, and at that time I was running behind the facts. So today I also want to share what Louis van Gaal actually said, because it was maybe a bit difficult for you. And in another interview he said, okay, so we have the spirit now, and we go looking upstairs instead of downstairs. So I'm going to tell you what that means. That's, and I felt that too. When I was blogging and I was writing an article about 25 tips to simplify your life and to live with less stress, it got shared and it went viral in Belgium and the Netherlands, and I was like, oh man, this is it. So I was walking in the park and I thought, okay, let's do this. Let's make an online course on this topic, because I knew that this was a very engaging topic for my audience. So that was a moment I got the spirit, and I said, okay, let's go and look upstairs. But something Louis van Gaal also said was, yeah, we can't lay a finger on it. So that was also something I experienced when I was writing articles. And it's also what Cliff said, that no one was commenting on my articles, and I thought, okay, so this article works and this article doesn't work. So well, what do I have to do? And then when I just went on, kept on writing, I started to experience what my audience wanted. And Louis van Gaal also said, that is another koek. That is another koek. So Manchester, they have to play against Liverpool today. That is another koek. In the Netherlands we say, dat is andere koek. So that's like I was writing short articles, and I was just like putting my thoughts on the internet. And at one time I thought, why don't I just write a very long form article, an evergreen content article with those 25 tips? And I was like working on it for a week, 2 weeks, and tried to get a lot of highlights in it, quotes, and I published it and it went viral. So that's also a thing I experienced. So enough about football. Let's go back to Gary. So Gary, he doesn't read any books. He has, when he publishes his new book, the Ask Gary V book, he has written more books than he's read. But I read a book in 2011 that changed my life completely. It was the book of Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich Again. And at that moment, before I went to Brazil, I was stuck. I was stuck in my head. I just graduated at acting college, and I was from 2007 to 2011. I was also waiting tables, because that was something I always wanted to do, but sometimes you just have to do something to learn about it, but that was like the worst combination ever. So I was waiting tables, doing auditions in Amsterdam. So I was working hard, struggling, surviving with all the other employees, and then drinking afterwards because you survived it, you did it. And the next day I had some auditions coming in, so I had not that lot of energy. So I was stuck. I was stuck in negative thoughts. I was escaping from my life. Like Cliff said, I was escaping with watching TV shows, with pretending to be somewhere else, not in this real life. And I was also playing video games. I was playing football games to just be that hero who scores a big goal. I was not into my real life. So I felt that there was something more. So I went to Brazil, and I still can. Have you ever felt that feeling that you're just reading something and that kind of information just, it strikes you like a lightning strike, that it clicks, and I can vividly remember the moment I sat on the beach in Brazil and I had that book and it struck me like a lightning strike. And especially at the end, when Napoleon Hill writes about the 6 ghosts of fear. So he explains this fear. So we all have these fears sometimes. And the first 2, those were the most important, those were the biggest fears for me. So the fear of poverty. In essence, I was afraid to end up poor. So I was keeping and waiting tables, and I was afraid to end up like a beggar with no friends. And Napoleon, he writes about that those worries are just a state of mind and you can beat it. And one quote I always remember is that nothing in life is worth the price of worry. So that was one is still very important for me. So I was trying to, also Napoleon gave me some tips how to beat those fears. And the next one was fear of criticism. So I was afraid of what, if I would make a change in my life in the Netherlands, I was afraid of what other people would do or would say about that. So yeah, I also was trying to go and tackle this. And Napoleon writes, he said, you just have to accept, or you just don't have to think about what other people would say or do. Just be that, be that strange person like Cliff was talking about. And then he had some other ghosts of fears: ill health, loss of love, old age, and death. And he gives some practical tips for you to beat that fear. And he said you just can instantly change your negative emotions, so you can instantly change fear into a major positive emotion like desire or faith or love or the thought about sex or enthusiasm, romance, and hope. So when I was in Brazil, I was constantly switching between those negative emotions. When I felt any fear or jealousy or hatred, I just became aware of my thoughts, and I thought, okay, what kind of fear is this? What kind of ghost is this? So let me give you an example. I'm with my girlfriend in a club, and I see my girlfriend, I see her talking with another guy, and I see them both laughing to each other. And I feel some kind of jealousy. So I think, okay, what kind of fear is this? So this is the fear of loss of love. So you can just accept that fear by just accepting that someone can disappear out of your life one day, and you just have to accept it. And when I accepted that, I also lost my jealousy. So those are some examples. And then I was switching it to a positive emotion. So I thought about something I really desire. So at that time, I was thinking about blogging, about writing, about what I'm passionate about, and sharing it with my audience. And that gave me such a positive vibe and attitude that it changed my environment. Like people around me they started talking to me because I was feeling that positive emotions. So this was my mindset before. So before the trip, my mindset was a lot of fear. I had a lot of fear in my head. And it was a fixed mindset. I only thought that I could be that working actor who had to do auditions, and that was the only thing that I had in mind. I had no other perspectives or things. And I was a cog. I felt like a cog in the system, hoping to get picked. So I felt like someone who wants to be picked by someone. So like me. And I was a consumer. I was always playing video games, watching television shows. So this quote from Seth Godin, this one is a very big one for me at this moment in my life. There are really only two ways to go forward as a player in this economy. One is you can be a cog in the system hoping to get picked. The other thing is the ability to put on a show, to say, I'm going to assemble this information, these people, these resources, these assets, put this into the world and hope that people will embrace it. So this is my mindset now. I believe in growth, in reading, in to be a human with value instead of success. So I'm always trying to grow every day. And I feel like an entrepreneur. I want to solve problems. I want to have the freedom of an entrepreneur. And this is maybe the most important right now. I want to be a creator. So I want to be a creator of things I write, but also when you talk about the acting part, I'm now planning to do a daily or a weekly acting vlog with another company. So, and that brings me to Casey Neistat. He's a vlogger in the United States, and he says, YouTube, we have mainstream, so you have the mainstream media, but now it's switched to YouTube as a mainstream platform because you can choose to what you want to create. It's very independently, and you can just share it with your audience, and yeah, it's fantastic. So this is the moment to create your own stuff and to do it yourself and to put it online. So when I came back from a trip in the Netherlands, I was starting to making a lot of changes. So I skipped my waiting tables job in Utrecht. I just went to live with my dad because I thought that the relationship with my dad had needed some more active energy. So I started to live with my dad, and I remember like I was laying on his couch. Yes, I was not afraid of poverty anymore, so I just wanted to be with my dad and just sleep there. And I found the archives of zenhabits.net. And at that moment, I started to get in contact with simplifying your life, with minimalism, with decluttering. And after that period, I started to declutter, to simplify, and I also wanted to do the things that add value to my life. And I was removing the inessential from my life. So now I only own 99 items, and I just have the stuff that really adds value, that makes me happy every day. And I also shared it. I also shared my experience, my decluttering experience on my blog. And now I also made an online course about it. So the course is called Minimize Your Life in 4 weeks, where you're gonna write your personal mission statement, and that's out of the book of Stephen Covey. It's the book I read after Napoleon Hill's book. And in the book of Stephen Covey, you're gonna write about your personal mission in life. So the course is about you writing your personal mission statement, and then afterwards you're gonna just remove all the inessential stuff that doesn't support the things you want in life. So this is my blog now. It's called lijstjes.info. That's lists.info. And the moment I started, I was loving reading lists. So I thought I just want to start. So I just came up with this name, and it's still that name. So let me start now with the 14 ingredients. So what I think that every awesome blog needs. And the first one is help and teach. Remember those two words, help and teach. So when someone is on your website or on your blog, there's always a radio station playing. So the moment they land on your website and the seconds counting, that radio station is playing. That radio station is called WII.FM. So that's what's in it for me. People want to have something of value, something they can use. And this is also what Cliff said, but let me mention it again. These are the most powerful E's for me. So you have to either educate your audience, learn them something, help them something, empower them to change their life, their actions, and entertain. You can also use a combination of both of the three. So my practical tip for helping and teaching would be to just create a Google form and ask your audience what are your dreams, what are your desires, your problems, and related to your topic. So what are your problems about running a dance studio, or what are your desires in life? And one example is I wrote a book for my audience, an ebook, and there was one question I sent to my audience, and that question was, what's the number one biggest problem I can solve for you, I could solve for you in your life? And that gave me 200 of questions from all the people that followed me. And I picked some of those questions and I answered them. So my book is a compilation of all the answers I answer from all the questions that my audience asked about their biggest problem in life right now. The second is to investigate and create. And this is something I recently wrote down in my agenda, and that is that I want to be an investigator and a creator about my topic. So about my topic, personal development is my topic, minimalism, film and voice acting. I want to investigate, so I want to investigate things, so I interview experts. I keep reading about those topics, and then afterwards I'm trying to create content about it. So that brings me to what I think is the new media entrepreneur. That's someone who is an investigator and creator of content about, for me, it's those topics, but for you, it could be something else. And then you always try to educate, empower, or entertain with those content. And so another example for me is I interview directors in the Netherlands, film directors, and I ask them the questions that my audience wants to hear. My audience are actors, so I ask like, what are you looking for in an actor, or what are you looking for when you do a casting? And I made also an article about the 14 things that directors look for in an actor when they are at castings. And that article that was like really well read, so you can make out of those interviews, out of those investigations, you can create like epic, valuable content. And then you can sell some of that content. You investigate, you create, and some of that content you can sell. So you can just make your own product, so your own books, your own courses, and you can sell sponsorship. So you can sell sponsorship on a podcast, or you can also sell what WeTransfer does. It's also a Dutch guy in the Netherlands. He sells the space on his website. So WeTransfer sells just an image of you, of your art on the website, and the access. So you doing a webinar or a monthly or a weekly Q&A for your audience, and they can only access it if they pay. So my practical tip for investigating, creating would be to read books, read a lot of books, interview experts, and what I do is I have my Kindle app and I highlight the quotes I like in my Kindle books, and then afterwards I go to my desktop and then I go to my Amazon or my Kindle highlights, and I just can instantly copy and paste those into my blogging articles. It's a really nice way to use the quotes, the highlights out of your books into your articles really fast. It's also a way that Maria Popova from brainpickings.org uses. It's a very wonderful blog I follow. And then number 3 is building your email list. So I heard from all the experts that they are regretting that they didn't start from the beginning with an email list. And so I started from the beginning, and yeah, I can say it's worth it. So all the things I sell, they come from email. So email is still the best-selling platform. So my practical tip would be to start with MailChimp. I started with Aweber, and I instantly had to pay. So with MailChimp, you can just, up to 2,000 subscribers, you can do it for free. So you just sign up for MailChimp, and then afterwards you just put sign-up forms everywhere on your blog, and especially below articles, because those are for me, the biggest conversion rates when people opt in is below my articles. And then when you have a product, Facebook ads is like the #1 way to grow your list. So what I do now is I send people to an article I know that's very engaging. Then I give them an incentive at the bottom. They opt in, and then I give them a lot of value through videos. And after that video, I sell my course. And a book I really recommend to use that strategy is the book Launch from Jeff Walker. And yeah, he gives you a lot of practical tips around building a launch sequence after they opt in into your list. Number 4, meet. So meet other bloggers, and relationships really matter. So what I do is I just go and invite other bloggers in the Netherlands and just invite them for coffee, and then I just can see if it clicks. If it doesn't click or doesn't match, it's okay. But if it clicks, and that's like in most of the cases that it clicks, then I invite them. Then I say, or I say, let's do a Q&A. So we do a Q&A together on Google Hangouts or Periscope. Or I just ask them, do you want to use my product for free, and just write about it. So that's a really good way that it helped me through my blogging experience. 5, be visible. So when I'm on a blog, and I'm always searching for a face. So when I'm on a website, I want to see, like offline, I want to look someone into the eyes. So just show your face and let it be about them. That's also very important. So your about page has to be about them, not about you in your narcissistic way, talking about yourself. But you have to, on the about page, you have to talk what you can do for your audience. Someone who does it very well is this man, Paul Jarvis. So this is the perfect about page. At the top, he says what he can do for the people he helps. So what's in it for you, what's in it for them, and then he shows his face. It's a professional-looking picture. He looks you into the eye, and that's exactly what you want as a visitor. Be social. So on social media, you have to engage with your audience. So what I do, I always try to be genuinely interested in other people, and I also ask a lot of questions. That's something that Cliff Ravenscraft also said, and it's making a connection, but it also boosts your posts. So this is a video of me on Dutch television where I give away my stuff. So now I have 138 things I own, and I give it away on the street. So I just give away a book, and I asked my audience on Facebook to share this. If they want to see this more in the world, people just giving the books away, and that they share it. And I always was engaging on and asking questions on the post. And this is one on my personal public profile where this is my show reel. So it's my acting show reel. And then I ask, can I have one word after seeing this video? So that was a very short and easy way for people to interact. So they just have to put in one word, and then I always interacted on that word. So I asked a question about that word, or I said thank you. And that made a lot of comments, and that boosted the post really well. It got nearly 4,000 views. Number 7, consistency. So just try to blog once a month. So I always, what I think is you can better publish one very good article once a month than 4 less better articles in 1 month. So, but always try to get consistent, to make it a habit, make it a writing habit, to write, and out of the you need those 100 articles to write the 10 good articles. So you have to write. And this is an app I use. It's called Balanced, and that's an app I use to build habits. So that's also a really good tip if you want to build habits. Start small. Try to use the app Balanced. It's for iOS, and for Android you have Habitbull and Coach.me. Those are, for me, it works. It has to work. But that's a practical tip I want to give you. Then measure. So you can measure your stats. You can always check how many visitors you have. But I believe in that you have to measure only the things that count. So I'm going to give you a thing that counts today, a thing that I always use. But you need Google Analytics for this. So with this practical method, you can see where the engagement on your post is. So which posts are the most read and where your visitors are the longest on your articles. So first you click on, in analytics, you click on behavior. Then the second click, maybe you have to write this down. The second click is site content. 3, all pages. Then you have to click this button here with the lines on the left and the right. That's the first click. Then you have to click on average time on page. Then you click on advanced, site usage, page views, and then you filter all the strange articles that, it's just a method you have to use. And then you click on 250 page views is greater than 250 page views greater than 250, and then you click on apply. And now you can see, so at the top, so those are the articles that my audience is the longest. So these are the videos I share when people opt into my list. So those are the most engaging. Those are videos I share, practical tips on how to declutter, how to get rid of a lot of distractions you don't need. And you see that the average time on this page is 16 minutes. So people are 60 minutes long on that video. And if you can reach like 5 minutes for an article, you have written a very engaging post, which are a lot of people reading, and they're very long on it. So 9, the words. The words really count. And to be a good writer, you have to write and read a lot. So a focus that when I do this, when I do a presentation, I first write it out. When I shoot a video, I first write it out. So always start with writing. The words are, in essence, the words count. Number 10, bleed, be human. This is something I learned from James Altucher, an entrepreneur in the United States. And he says, he does every week, he does a Q&A. Follow him, he's fantastic. And someone asked, what's a valuable blog post? And he says, bleed, provide value nobody knew about, tell a story, and bleed more. So when you share things in life, the failures, the mistakes, people can always relate to that, and they instantly react on it. So so just show you're human, and also share the ugly times in your life. Share your ugly moments with the people. Number 11, a simple design. So I love simplicity in life, but also on a blog. So less is more. And I love this blog from James Clear, good surname. He has when you enter his page, he immediately says what he can do for you. And he has 5 things you can click on the top. So his about page, his articles, which are fantastic, his books, his seminars, so those are his own products, and his reading list, so the books he's reading. And he makes his newsletter very important. He has got some 200,000 subscribers. Follow him. He writes fantastic long-form articles about habits. It's a fantastic writer, fantastic blogger also. Then the SEO is important, but I just use a simple strategy. That is to create evergreen content, so long-form articles that are always valuable. So it doesn't matter what time they land on your article, it's always valuable. And the cornerstone content, so the how-tos. So the basics of your topic. So my topic, how to declutter. So I have to write about the basics of decluttering, of simplifying your life, about personal development. And then Google sees it, and then it will put you up the rankings. And also think about meeting other bloggers and building links. So if they write about your product, if they use your product for free, they're also going to write about it on their blog, so they're going to share a link. So you have to build good, big links and you have to write these kind of content, and then your SEO is really fine. Number 13, your own style. So you have to create your personal brand. I have a special style for this keynote, some special fonts, a gray color. So I think it's very important to create your own visual style, to experiment with fonts. Keep it simple, but use the same fonts again also on social media with the quotes you're sharing. Try to keep it simple and create your own style. So when someone sees it, they immediately see it as from you, from your personal brand. And then the last one is called HEP. And HEP in the Netherlands is to have, or to take, to have. And I think these are the 4 must-haves for a blogger. Number 1, hard work. So you have to work hard. You have to write those 100 articles to write 10 good ones. 2, empathy. So you have to get into your visitor, get into your customer, get into the people who are following you, and what do they want. Ask what they want. 3, patience. So have the patience to keep on being patient. And it also clicks with hard work. When you're not patient, when you're giving up too fast, it's about persistence. It's also something that Cliff said when he shared his failures in the beginning. You have to be patient. You have to keep going, keep working hard, and believe in yourself. 4, and that's passion. And that's, I think, don't start your blog because you want to make money, but start your blog because you feel the passion for the topic inside. And we come back to Gary. He says, know yourself. So be self-aware, choose the right medium, choose the right topic, create awesome content, and you can make a lot of money being happy. It's a quote out of his book, Crush It. So this is, so my online course is now more than 1 year old. I started in February 2014, and this is what I made with it. So the online course, the price is now 137 euros. It started with 17 euros. So I've been building up that price. And this course is created out of that article I recently told about those 25 tips. And at that moment, I felt like I have to create an online course about this. So at the top, those are my books. So the top, this one is just the ebook and the audio book. The book I told about is now 6 months old, and it's about all those problems in life that people face with and how they can solve it. And the bottom one is het Blogbouwer Stappenplan. So it's the first steps to create a blog and then go from step to step. And this is where I'm paying off my student loan with my affiliate sales from bol.com. Bol.com is the Amazon of the Netherlands. So this makes some decent money. It's okay, but you're not. What I've experienced is that with affiliate sales, and I link to books. So books are a really small price. So if you link to photo cameras or video stuff, I think it's a different story. This is what I made from affiliates. So this is what I learned. That is to create your own products. So go and create those own products with videos. I prefer to create an online course with video because people want to pay more for an online video. But make it your own product and sell it directly. So don't sell it on other platforms, but sell it directly. You can do this with Gumroad. In the Netherlands, I use another. It's called PayPro, and I'm waiting for the moment I can step to Gumroad because they don't support Ideal. That's a very important payment method, but I think those things will change. So eventually, I will go to Gumroad, and don't sell products with small prices from others. So. Yeah, this is I think the essence of what I've learned so far from 30 months of blogging. And then when you have that online course, when you create that course, you have to think about those 4 things. So demand, pricing, reach, and copy. So the demand is the first thing. The best is to create something that creates work for the other. So if you create a course that can get more work for the customer or more money, that's the best thing you can make. So if you can make like a course on running a dance studio or making something out of wood and sell it, that's the best way to get a lot of demand for your online course. And then solve a problem, and then make it a painkiller. So my course is a bit of a painkiller. It's like getting rid of the distractions in your life. It's too much happening in your life, and you want to get rid of it. When you have a headache, you want to get rid of it. So try to make a painkiller something that gets away from the pain. Second, pricing. So you have to think about what your audience can spend. So when you make a course about getting out of debt, you can price it not that high. But if you create a course on managing my real estate, so I have 6 kind of real estate, then you can ask more. So you have to think about this. What can they spend? My audience, what can they actually spend? Then reach. So word of mouth is very important now. The word of mouth, you see that with WhatsApp, it was an app for 80 cents, and you can just free communicate with the people around you. You don't have to use SMS anymore. So those are the products that have like 10 times more value than you pay for it. WhatsApp is an example, but also Netflix. It's like $9 a month for thousands of movies. But if you don't have that kind of product, you're going to need some advertising. And then I would recommend to invest now in Facebook advertising and see how that works. And now also Instagram is coming with their new advertising platform. So get into that. And then for the last one is your copy. So you need a sales page. When you have a product, you need a sales page. And at the top, tell them the problem. If you can tell the problem better than the audience knows about, then they instantly believe you. And 2, you have to share the benefits and the results from people who use your product. So I have some audio clips on my sales page from people who use the product, and they share their benefits and their results out of the product. And the testimonials. So those are the testimonials. So you have to also write about the benefits you can bring, and you have to let the people who use your product talk about those benefits, those results. So not about the features of the course or the product, but what's in it for them. So that was my presentation. I would love to go to Q&A to ask me questions. And last thing I would say is create more, consume less. Thanks a lot.